A lot of our humor isn't like one-liners.
Yeah.
It's like situational.
Oh, really? Okay.
So situational, you have to be there.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So first of all, I'd like to know, just for our audience, if you guys could tell me your names and what you're responsible for in the film.
I'm Andrew Stanton. I'm the writer-director of the movie.
I'm Lee Unkrich, and I'm the co-director.
Okay, well, I'd first like to jump into the story. If you could tell me about the story and why you chose it.
Well, the story is basically about a father clownfish who's trying to raise his only son, Nemo, on the Great Barrier Reef, and he's very nervous and overprotective, and it sort of pushes his son away for being so overprotective, and makes his son sort of go out where he's not supposed to, and he ends up being taken out of the ocean, and the father has no idea where he's gone, and he spends the whole movie searching the ocean trying to figure out where his son went to and get him back.
Okay, great. Now we got that. Now I'd like to get a little bit of the, how much do you guys both feel that technology is, how much it has affected the way we tell stories now?
Well, I know for us personally, it's liberated us.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that technology has come as far as it has allowed us to tell stories that we couldn't have told 10 years ago. We could not have made Finding Nemo with the technology that we had when we made the first Toy Story. And it's exciting because now we've come to the point where most of the things that we were not able to do for the last 10 years we can do. And it's exciting because anything that we can dream up, we can create at this point.
I think we're hitting a golden age with how computer graphics have sort of infiltrated all of movie making, and we're seeing movies now that are capturing either stories that have been around for a long time or original stories that people have been thinking about, and matching what your mind's eye has always hoped they could look like. And I think that's really exciting. Seems like if you can think it up, you can see it now.
Exactly. And so do you think that the story pushes the technology or technology pushes the story?
Gosh, it tends to be back and forth. It never, sometimes it can come from seeing an image and you go, wow, I never knew you could do that. Now I realize I want to tell this kind of a story. Other times you're just thinking of a story you want to tell and hope the images will catch up. It tends to be the latter with us more often.
Although we like to say that the story challenges the technology and the technology inspires the art.
Okay, great. Now I'd like to know why did you choose the ocean as your backdrop?
Why not? It's pretty darn cool. It's so vast. Maybe it's because I grew up on the ocean. It just always fascinated me. It was intimidating and thrilling at the same time, and it was such a metaphor for life. It was just this vast thing, and it's like
this idea of like anything could be out there.
Right, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. And so I just knew it was right for something. And once I was introduced to the world of computer graphics, early on in Toy Story, I just realized, wow, we could really mimic very accurately what it's like to be underwater with this medium. And so that really got my brain, going for thinking of stories that I might want to tell in that setting. We were very busy with Toy Story and Bug's Life and Toy Story 2, so I had a while to sort of let it all simmer.
Now, what did you use? First of all, as a director, how did you guys use, actual footage? How was that a reference? Did you heighten that? What exactly did you do?
Well, when we were first trying to figure out how to do water, one of the first things that Andrew kind of laid down the gauntlet, and he came up with a bunch of shots of live action footage, both underwater and above water, and said, try to create these, see what you can do.
Try to match them.
Yeah, try to make them look exactly the same. And they went away and they did that. They looked so much the same that we couldn't tell the difference between the live action footage and the CG footage.
We've never had that problem before, so we actually had to pull back.
Really? We had to figure out, now how are we going to stylize this world? Because we don't want to just recreate reality. We're making an animated film. We're telling a fantasy story. We want to stylize it somewhat. And we found that by trying to give the impression of how you remember what it's like to be underwater, rather than trying to recreate the exact reality of what it's like to be underwater, that was kind of a toe in the door of how to figure out this world. It's we likened it to, it's like as if God had an extra day to go in and tidy up all the work he had done and straighten things a bit and organize.
So it gives it that hyper reality, we like to call it.
Now, how do you direct your actors? What's the process of taking it from voice to animation and to be able to convey that same emotion?
Directing actors in animation it's basically, it's like you've separated the two roles. There's the voice and then there's the physical acting. One's going to be done by the talent that you've hired to do the voice, and one's going to be done by the animator. but you're talking to them exactly the same way. They both need to know what's the motivation. They need to know the scene they're coming from and the scene they're going to. They need to, know anything that you were picturing in your head as a director that you were wanting to have be conveyed. But they're also hoping for a little bit of room to put in something that they might do to it. With a voice actor, you spend a lot of the time just describing the context of what they're doing, because they're standing in a room with nothing in it and a mic. Nobody
no
to act
props.
off of.
They're not working off of any other professional actors.
So that's where I spend most of my time. It's not going, say it better than this, say it better than that. I mean, there's a little of that, but if you've hired the right person, sometimes you can just let them run free. Just make sure you get enough takes. The big thing is going, okay, you have to say this a little bit more frightened, like you're on fire, because there's a big explosion over here, and then, you don't know that, but that's what's going to happen, And that's what you spend a lot of time doing.